It's probably after it dropped like that and slammed, it probably really messed up. And the springs probably busted.
Actually, I untorqued them, and they're both okay.
Okay.
So I'm at zero potential now. The door is down.
I was gonna say, I don't know too much about it, I just know that's a lot of oomph on those. I'll be surprised if they survived that, like, they don't make stuff like that anymore.
There's a reason.
Well, I'm just saying, the new stuff would have never survived the fall. Well, you know, if it was made in the last 30 years, you probably would have exploded.
This is,
Howdy, Art.
Hi there.
How are you?
this,
Pretty good. And you?
All right.
this garage door was made to 1949 Buick standards.
Yeah. We don't make doors like that anymore either.
Yeah.
And those you couldn't really break into, and I was joking around with one of my buddies that's in the pen testing. He's like, well, what's your new door like? And I said, well, it's, you know, this stock or whatever, it's a double door, really. It's like, you know how to get into it? He's like, a coat hanger, I can be in your house in 30 seconds. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you just push on the top, slip that in there, grab the emergency latch,
Release and go.
yank it, roll under the door and be in the house.
About 6
Oh,
months ago, my wife and I came home and it was starting to drizzle and it was cold. And the garage door opener wouldn't work. And so we went up to use the keypad and it wouldn't work. I said, no problem. We go in through the front door. Except neither she nor I had keys. So I reached back into the pickup and got the universal window opener, which was a hammer, and just smashed the window up. And busted all the loose glass out and got a hold of the release lever. But even doing that, I could only get the door up about 6 inches. And neither she nor I is capable of laying down on the blanket and sleeping under there.
Yeah.
So I went over and got the kids from next door, 5 and 4. They didn't have any trouble. Shined the light in so they knew what they were doing. They opened the door into the house, came out and opened it up for us. It's like, couldn't do that now because they moved.
Yeah. I redid the front door. Well, we finally got our new front door after 2.5 years, and now it's got a big keypad.
I was thinking about doing one of those.
It is so nice. That's my parents' sponsors, but it's nice.
The house we lived in Monroe had a digital keypad. That thing rarely worked the way it was supposed to. And the other really cool, I think it was an older model, but it had the ability, there was a little pinhole. If you took a SIM card thing, you could hit that pinhole and reset the code so that
The door was essentially open to anybody who knew what they were doing.
if they understood that it was that particular model and that whatever, yes. Cause I reset the code 2 or 3 times because I forgot what the code was.
We bought a new car. And this is, you have it in your pocket and you don't need anything
yeah.
else. I would like to have a front door that opened up the same way the car opens up, where I could just walk up. And it would be even nicer if I walked up close and had proximity and it opened the door for me.
They do actually make some of those that replace the door lock with something like that, but the reviews on them are not great.
Well, a couple of years ago, the Kias apparently they were like what you're talking about with the SIM card opener.
Oh, yeah.
You walk up and you've got the card.
Hold the button for 3 seconds and you go, oh, new code. Beep, beep, beep. Put the code in again. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, now let's open the door.
You can't open the door unless you have a new code.
But yeah, who it was? Big lock company. They made something like that. You put the key fob on your key ring, you carry it around with you, and when you get close to the door, it unlocks the door for you, and then you still have to actually open the knob, but it'll unlock it for you.
Well, this is like packing around a second wallet.
Yeah,
It's
my
big and bulky.
my dad's had one of those in his car for a few years now, and he likes it. I wasn't so convinced about it, but somebody has, I don't remember who it was, somebody has a newer car that key fob has to be in a certain spot to work. If it's not in
Yeah,
that
if it's
spot.
not on the interior of the car.
Well, that's how dad's is. If it's outside the car, it won't work. If he's, I think, 3 feet away from the car, it won't work.
There's some things with this car that I absolutely dislike. If you hit 4 or 5 miles an hour, it locks all the doors.
Yeah.
And when you come to a stop, it leaves them locked.
Yeah.
You know, how many times do people break into your car when you're driving down the freeway?
The car I'm
Depends on what
driving,
city you're in.
But I was looking at whether I could reprogram that. And I found the Kia operating system is open source.
oh, that's interesting.
I don't know how you would go about looking at that many lines of code and figuring out what was going on.
They open source it so you can see that their security is actually good.
Well,
decent.
I don't
Good
know
enough.
the reasoning for it. I haven't downloaded the source code or looked at it. I just was surprised to see that it was that way.
That's why most of the encryption protocols are open source, so you could look at it and see how it works and see that it's, you know, if you find a security flaw or whatever, you can report it, but you could look and say, oh yeah, this is actually doing what they say it's doing, or it's not doing what they say it's doing something else.
What was it that was like 35 years ago? They had, it's called pretty good encryption,
Yep.
PGE,
PGP,
PGP.
it's still around. It's still around. It's pretty good.
Well,
It depends on which version you use, doesn't it? You don't like it?
If you're not using 456 or higher, then yes, so 256 is pretty secure.
I used that.
Way stronger than they ever were before.
I used it like 35 years ago, but I really didn't see that any of my communications needed any better protection than that.
Well, it depends on who you're trying to keep it from. If you're trying to keep it from the general script kiddie, the guy next door, that's, you know, you're gonna need a lot better.
Well,
Or it's not that big deal, but if you're trying to keep it away from the government,
for
I don't think it matters.
NSA.
They don't let us have any toys that they can't already hack in like 30 seconds,
Yeah.
so. It's kind of a neat point. It's kind of funny, even though it's like I doubt the AES and install 256 does the gas squad anymore either. Because if you really look at this, they actually do have the quantum computers and everything like they talked about years ago, and IBM's been giving us warnings for 10 years to use quantum computer hardened codes, which, you know, still because none of them are good. I think they got, pop that shit like it's nothing. There was actually a guy, they created a software package called Pixie Dust. That would pop all hardware encryption. Because it's all chip. It was all the codes known, and he wrote an algorithm that just pops everything. And so you just run it, it would get, so if anything's been hardware based encryption,
He's got,
this laptop just pops it like it's nothing. It's like, that's nuts.
So how many characters in a password is recommended now?
The guy that created passwords about 8 years ago said you need a minimum of 24 to even stand a chance.
Yeah,
Now, and that's to be based off, at the time that we were still using MD5 password comparison,
mhm.
and that was a 10 cycle encryption rotor. And there's still about 30% of the world is on that, but the new stuff's decrypt, and it does a 32-bit or 32 time roll. Supposedly that's substantially stronger. But there's modern day computers that still pop, like a thing compared to password in under an hour.
Well, 10 characters is way not enough.
Yeah, so
Way not enough.
and that's what I was like kind of saying. So it comes down to like people knowing how to hash. If you solve it, that helps.
So,
But if you look at like, so they announced PCI 5
mhm.
a couple months ago, which is 4 times faster interface than we've had before. You can put 128 video cards on one computer.
So there's no hope in.
You're basically like a micro mainframe cluster computer hasher in top. At exponential speeds that are like unfathomable. Or they were at the start of this year, right? By the end of this year, you'll be looking at that, and it's like, okay, so your hash tables are generated in seconds instead of hours,
I've been updating all my passwords, and I've been trying to change them to all the at least 40 characters, but I ran across
40?
Yeah, I've ran across a couple of sites that still are only doing 12 characters. I'm sitting there going, yep, that site's going to be hacked. Yeah. That site's dog trash.
Sort
but
of.
if you have a router that comes that says admin and password, you don't need to worry about having a Cray to work on that.
No, well, that's, so Wi-Fi, there's a guy that wrote an app called Dragonfly, which basically he interfaces it with Google or Amazon cloud services to do the actual hacking. And it will usually pop any Wi-Fi password you want to do a project. So it's costing like $2. That competes on it.
Okay, hold on. That assumes that the router is accessible externally and on a really fast link.
You mean the laptop?
Oh, he's doing it from inside?
Well, I mean, if you're close enough to see the Wi-Fi, to sniff packets, to crack the hash,
Okay. I thought you meant the password for the router.
no, that's
Well,
good.
that's what I
That's
was.
to pop the
referring to.
Wi-Fi to get on the network.
Yeah.
And once you're on, you can usually get in. So depending on if you're, got the right toys. It is freaky stuff anymore. That's why it's like, I don't even trust Wi-Fi with a.
Key switches.
And what's even more disturbing? This is way easier than Wi-Fi. But you gotta have funkier equipment. This runs on encryption that's 15 years out of date. So with the right stuff, you can just read that.
key switches. Have you seen that, Art?
What's that?
That is that key switch tester thingy-mabob from Steve.
Yeah,
It's got
100.
different key switches and you can sit there and go, oh, I like that one. Oh, I didn't like that one.
For the feel of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The clickiness and the click back thinking.
Yeah.
Yes, there are some in there that are seriously clicky.
Don't make two then. The addiction is growing.
Oh, you have no idea. This is,
I,
this is
I
my,
have two mechanical keyboards now, so
this is my all-time favorite color scheme. It's called Rome. And I just like it. It's nice.
And on my keyboard, since I do a lot of work on SketchUp, I've actually pried off the arrow keys and included them to the orientation.
Oh, okay.
So that I can,
You can buy those pre-colored.
well, yeah, but I didn't have it. at the
Yeah.
time. And, there was a program before Word called Word Perfect.
Mhm.
And I believe that they had red, green, and blue.
And yellow.
They don't believe in yellow, but, at work, I pried the keys off everybody's keyboard and color coded them so they didn't have to have a damn template to figure it out.
I don't know. You still needed the template to remember that Alt F7 is saved. Unless you did all the F keys and had the 4 different colors, because there was the F key blank, which was black. Alt was green, I think, blue, okay. Control was red and it, I guess, was yellow. Because Shift F7 was different than Control or Alt. I actually have running WordPerfect in Linux. But the only thing I found for that template is in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. I guess I could dump that into Google and have it translate, but I only remember like 8 of the commands for the F keys.
Yeah,
That was all I used.
it was a program that I liked because you could embed other documents very easily.
Mhm.
But nobody else in the world used it, everybody was doing the words, so.
Law firms used the heck out of it. It was the de facto standard for law firms for 15 years.
Everybody I interacted with, though, were in Word document.
Mhm.
So if I had embedded codes like, that would interact with a access database, for example,
Mhm.
why bother? If you're a Microsoft-based organization and you've got Word Perfect on the outside, it isn't gonna make any traction.
Okay. Disagree, but okay.
Well, I mean, personally, but if I.
How many Windows machines have Chrome installed? A lot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, all of them
All
now.
of them now, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, outside company just came in and decimated Internet Explorer, and it needed to be decimated.
Yes,
I mean, and this year, Microsoft is giving up on JavaScript, which it's about time. They want
Yeah,
everybody to learn Python.
but they're also doing other things that are not so.
Anybody's still running Windows by the end of this year, nuts.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Some of the stuff that come out and announce and say that they're doing, I'd be like, yeah, what's that?
Windows, doing some of this stuff and they're just going to increase Linux use
Oh, yeah.
by a factor of
Well, that's what they're
1,000%.
saying too, they're seriously like with the NVIDIA and pushing somebody else, so like if they're making the chips for the new next gen Windows 12 or whatever they're gonna call it. They're talking about cutting Linux completely out of that chipset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one should be identical to yours,
I'm
just
sure
different
It
keycaps.
feels very,
they'll
very
release
similar.
support, but it'll take them some time.
So me, not really trusting GitHub a lot,
See,
I kept bugging Keychron and saying, hey, where's the JSON file?
okay,
They sent me, it is identical to the one on GitHub.
GitHub, that guy said that he got it from a developer at Keychron, so.
So that's a C3 Pro. It does pretty lighting and stuff, though I just go for a solid dim underglow. That one's kind of neat. It has little lights that show up on the ends.
That's my cheapish
That's a
real keyboard.
that's a $50 keyboard.
Yep.
This one is a Keychron V3. It's the next step up.
It almost feels like a Commodore.
With those
The
keycaps on
keycaps,
it.
yeah, I really like those. Those are ASA. I prefer SA, but I haven't been able to find a good Roam keycap set in SA. So, yeah, I'll deal with my F and J not being divoted more and having that little bar on them, which irritates me.
So,
Okay, now, pardon my ignorance, but these are backlit, so the letters.
Those do not. They call them shine through keycaps, and it came with those. I just don't like it. They've got sharp edges and they don't have the
Yeah.
nice divots.
I
do a lot of my work at night with no lights on,
Mhm.
so.
You
I'm
would
not-
probably be fine with the stock keys, or you can get a bunch of other keycap sets that are designed to shine through, and some called pudding, which are neat, but just don't do anything for me.
the keycaps that come stock with that are probably its biggest downfall. Honestly, because it's a good keyboard, it's a nice keyboard, but the keycaps don't feel good to actually type
Yeah.
on. Those keycaps feel much better.
These don't have any indexes. In the H and J.
Yes, they do.
The J and the F are indexed,
That's normal.
okay. I was thinking that H and J were indexed on them.
No.
I think it's always J and F, or
Yeah.
F and, yeah, whatever,
FMJ.
whatever I just said. That one,
Those are under the index.
the,
That's me.
I almost.
these keycaps, are pretty nice.
Mhm.
This is
That's a
heavy.
$26. Oh, you picked that.
That's a heavy key.
That
I like,
is lovely to type on.
I like this.
One thing I don't like about, that's $185 or so.
The F, these extra F buttons are on the wrong side.
Yeah, sort of, but I'm left-handed.
Yeah, it's not a big deal for you.
One of the things that I dislike about this keyboard and that one is the connector is up here on the top edge. And if you use the cable that comes with it, the connector sticks out to here, and then you've got the wire. So I use 90-degree cables.
Yeah,
Those annoy me. These are all USB-C.
I've got a set of 90-degree cables. Just for that specific, but I've got it coming out the side. That keyboard, one of those keyboards is great for that. It's got it coming out the side.
Yeah.
It comes out the side.
Yeah, I
I was-
have never
I was-
understood the USB
So-
up here.
That cheap keyboard that I got from Microsoft,
Mhm.
the $30 keyboard, it has it coming out the side, but it's a hardwired. It's hardwired. You can't replace the cable.
Right,
It's a braided cable. It's a really nice cable. They probably spent more on the cable than on the
the rest
keyboard.
of it.
But
I'd be surprised if you can't open it up and,
oh, I haven't tried,
Yeah.
but I want. From what I've read about it after I got it and everything, it's. Yeah, it's a good starter, but it's not a good keyboard. It's not a great keyboard.
so,
Now, one thing that I have noticed with that keyboard. So that the cheap Micro Center keyboard
mhm,
will post as a keyboard right as it's booting up,
mhm.
but the C3 doesn't. It has to wait till. I cannot hit F1 or F2 during boot up to get into anything. It has to wait for me to get to an OS before it turns into a keyboard.
Mine doesn't.
Okay, well, mine's weird then.
One of the
my
nice
daughter's
things-
Computers is like that. Which is really a pain in the ass.
I don't think it's the computer though, because I'll plug in the other keyboard and I can use it just fine.
You should be able to get into BIOS with this.
I would have thought that too, but
So one of the things about this that makes it the fun thing. The switches are hot swappable. You don't need to unsolder them. They're in sockets and you
Okay.
can replace them
good
anytime
lord.
you want.
Well, I was just
Yeah, drop
thinking-
that on your foot.
Like I said,
Please
this
don't.
is about as heavy as the monitor, about cut my finger on.
I've got 4 keyboards that I use in different parts of the house and in different machines. And 3 of the 4 of them are wireless.
Mhm. That one's wireless.
Aluminum frame. dude.
Yeah. Build aluminum,
With
apparently.
a battery bank, like triple laptop pack.
It does have a battery in there. It's not particularly big, 2,500 milliamps.
Where's all the weight coming from?
The bottom of that is that thick. Yeah,
It's got some heft to it.
Some plate,
So
that's crazy.
This
What's the
one-
dial do?
when you just turn it, it's volume. When you push it down, or wait, when you turn it, it's mouse wheel up and down, and when you push down and turn, it's volume up and
because he's programmed it to do so.
down.
What's
Mhm.
this other button, 3 buttons do?
Those aren't buttons.
Which, oh.
Are
um,
those buttons?
No, those tell you the state of the charge, whether Bluetooth is enabled or the 2.4 gig. For gamers who use wireless, apparently 2.4 gigahertz is faster than Bluetooth. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah. When I saw it, I still didn't understand why it was so heavy. I was like, when I said it was aluminum framed, I still didn't understand where the weight's coming from, because even a block of aluminum doesn't weigh that much at that size.
An intruder breaks in, grab your keyboard, smash
Mhm.
him over the head with it. Holy cow.
So this keyboard is the cheapie. And this is my travel keyboard now. This is,
The C3?
this is, I like it. I'm not a big fan of a LED telling me that it's in Windows mode.
Yeah.
Pisses
Even
me
when the
off.
house gets over 40
Yeah.
degrees.
I'd rather they were unlabeled.
But you don't wanna be
I
under
don't
the
understand some of the decisions made on that keyboard.
When
but
it does start sliding,
It's a
don't
decent
in front of it.
Mhm. It starts up in Windows mode and there's no way to switch it to Mac mode now. I just turned that
You
off.
just disabled that.
Yeah. These two are programmed the same. And This one has facility for more buttons, more switches. If you look at the wiring diagram for this one, there aren't any wasted rows and columns. On this one, there is a missing switch here. There's four missing switches here. There's a missing switch on both shifts. Yeah. And if you look in that JSON file, they're KY_NO. You can attach to the traces, I believe, and add switches. And I am seriously thinking of putting a little read switch in here, so with a magnet I can turn on stuff.
Interesting.
This one, I haven't figured out how you open it. I'm sure it can be opened, I just haven't tried yet.
It's very similar to that in design, but
This one has brass screws holding it together and brass inlays. This is a clear case with a silicon back. This one I think has just a piece of fiber fill in it.
So are those matrix laid? Or are they individually there?
The switches are in a matrix with diodes, so you can do N-key rollover. Or so you don't get N-key rollover. I'm not sure how that's worded. The LEDs, I'm pretty sure, are all just one string of the 2416s or whatever. I don't know, the addressable LEDs.
oh yeah, I'm sure that's one.
One pin.
But you can change each individual LED if you want to,
Well, that
can't you?
got a solder.
Well, Steve, I'm curious. There's one numeric keypad, is that because you?
Because I'm left-handed only. This one, don't type. I just don't use a keypad. I never have. I have always tried to convince people not to use the keypad because you're required to have numbers in your password, but you never know the state of numlock when your computer comes up anymore, because sometimes Windows toggles it for you. So too many people sit there and type part of their their password, and then page up, page down. And then they put in a ticket to me because they need their password reset. And I tell them, type it with use the numbers at the top. Oh, okay, it's all good. And then the next day I get a ticket because they forgot.
I'm trying to remember and think back here. Before the mice were a common function, operating on the keyboard, and I'm operating in Lotus 1-2-3. I like the ability to not have to move my hands away from the keyboard to get a mouse to do something and then put my hands back on the keyboard. I like the ability of doing home, up arrow to go to the top of the column and so on and so forth. And I think at that time, when I was doing a lot of Lotus 1-2-3 work, I really did like the number feature. And
Home up
very,
to go to the very beginning, and then down to go to the last.
and if you're building a spreadsheet, it was really easy because you could go over one column, go up, go back one column to the left, and you were back at the top of the column you started with. So
this keyboard, well, all three of them, because all three of these have the same program running. They come with the function key being what's now menu. I move that up here because what the hell does pause do? Nothing has used it in 10 years.
Nothing good.
So this is now my function key, and I can just smack that with my left hand. Right hand. So on all of these, if you hit that and the key next to it, it toggles and it stays in the next layer. And then H, J, K, and L move the mouse.
Okay.
U, I, and O are mouse button 1, 2, and 3, and N or M and comma are scroll up and down. So, yeah. I use a trackball and I don't use a trackball much.
I,
You know, when you're reprogramming the keys, I have a little program, and I'm trying to think of what the name of it is. It's software
Mhm.
where I can turn off the caps lock, for example.
Mhm.
Because I'm tired of hitting that damn thing by accident.
I can disable that.
Okay, now do you do that in software for the keyboard, or do you do it in software when you operate?
It's software for the keyboard. Basically, you go to a website, use via.io, I think.
app,
Something, yeah, use via.app. And tell it, I want to program my keyboard. And this is the part, yeah, I'm sure that you find offensive. I'm on some other website programming my passwords into this thing. I have great passwords. Unfortunately, they went through use via.app. You can run that locally. It's pretty basic. But yeah, that is a thing that I've thought about. Gone, well, it's Siemens that do this.
I,
That's fine.
But yes, the keyboard is being programmed. That one has an RP2040 in it, I'm pretty certain. And these two are both little Atmega somethings.
yeah. I haven't programmed my keyboard yet, other than the LEDs. I've messed with the LEDs because why not? But I was gonna say, the 10 key on the side, for me, that whenever I was using the calculator, that was always how I used the calculator. 10 key.
Mhm.
Like back in the day when I was manager at Domino's, we used to have to actually do our paperwork, and I got really fast at using a real 10 key calculator. So that's what I've always used it for, and I do miss it, but it's not the end of the world because I don't use the calculator much. I mean, you know,
It seems neat, my recollection from things that happened 40 years ago, are not as good as they were 40 years ago. So we had a separate keypad that was numeric only.
Mhm.
I'm not really certain whether they're even available.
They are. I've got one, a little Logitech wireless job. It's pretty decent. You might
Keep
not.
sells a keypad, an external 10 key.
You can actually, if you wanna get really inside, then there's a external programmable 25 button thing with mouse control going into it.
Mhm.
Thumbtack.
Well, it's one of those things where the only class I ever made a B in was personal typing in high school. So, and so it has just been by rote that I have gradually gotten my fingers to operate the keyboard, and I have lifelong bad habits that can be broken in my lifetime.
Well,
You never know.
I was gonna say the keycaps cost as much as the damn keyboard. Or
Those
the
are switches.
switches. The switches cost as much as the damn keyboard.
Well, this keyboard here, it has just a wonderful feel to it physically.
That's not going back home with Steve.
It is.
This is one of those pride and ownership things. I don't know whether it functions well or not, but it feels good.
Makes me wanna build one.
Yeah.
So the only problem with these and with how easy they are to program, if Leroy were to plug this into his machine and go to use via.app, he could see in clear text what all my passwords are.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yes, it is.
That is a problem.
And now you were saying that
Well, you know.
between the two of these, you had lost the key function.
Well, no, so that's in the use via, there's a thing, a design tab. And it shows you the row and column wiring,
Okay,
and there aren't any extras on this. I think there's one. On this one, there's quite a few. Again, there's two under each shift.
mhm,
There's a total of 7 or 5, I guess, under the space bar. There's one here and here. Might be 3 here.
So they could have added more key switches and
Yeah, it has enough for the 10 key pair.
so the bezel, if you pulled it off and replaced the bezel, you'd have access to the other, probably.
maybe.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm seriously considering just putting a reed switch here or something, so I can drop a magnet there
Yeah.
and have it do other things. And
What switches do you have on this?
those are Holy Llamas. I'm 90%. Here, take a look. I think those are mechanical keyboard Holy Llamas, I believe.
I have not been successful in learning how to do this real well, so.
Well, don't go back and forth. That forces
Oh, okay.
the stem to move around.
Look at string.
Oh, no, these aren't my Holy Llamas. Let me see. Those might be stock for what team? These are tails.
Have that on.
Yeah, there's a few in there. Sorry, I can't see them.
Might be the key cap.
No, they're Gaterons. Okay, so these are the stock ones that came with it. These are Gateron lemon yellows or something. I have another
It's gotta be,
couple of keyboards.
it's gotta be the keycaps. And make it really nice to type on.
This or that,
That.
because these are, I switched out these keycaps also. If you're interested, I can get you the name for them.
I like those keycaps feel really nice to type on.
I
Yeah.
ordered them from AliExpress.
Okay.
Give me a minute, let me look through my orders history. Because I got those not long. Actually, I got those before I got that keyboard, I think. Oh, did I? It irritated me that I couldn't get the Macintosh command buttons here. Because I really do not want a Windows key on my keyboard. It irritates me. Surprisingly amount.
I was going to order a Linux Mint key to replace the Windows key.
My issue with those is I haven't found one yet that's double shot
Okay.
or shine through or whatever.
Well, the one I found it wasn't double shot, but it was shine through, but it wasn't shine through the way the other shine throughs were.
Right,
It was basically an open, just
a transparent switch with a decal on top.
no. It was basically an open switch. It looked like something that somebody 3D printed with a hole that looked like the Linux Mint logo.
Well, this is a general question, and Art may have some input on this too. Do you know anyone who uses a Dvorak keyboard as opposed to QWERTY?
Yes, I do.
Now, are they,
And he asked me to help him do things. And I bring along the keyboard because
you can't,
what the hell.
yeah, you can't happen. A long time ago, I bought a compact computer, and during the startup, there were some programs I just didn't recognize, they were EXEs. And one of them was ITL, another one was FRA. And I didn't know what they were for, so I went ahead and had one executed that. And then I couldn't see any difference.
Then you had to restart the
I
computer.
had to restart the computer, because it was a French keyboard, an Italian keyboard, and I don't know what the other one was. But at this point, I don't know of anybody who was good enough as a typist to see improvement with the Dvorak keyboard.
Oh, this guy does 110 words a minute.
He's probably good enough to see a difference. Now, this is another silly question, but how do you manipulate on-screen ABC keyboards? Is there any way to switch those over, like if you're in
On-screen keyboards? You can get those in Dvorak or whatever.
no, I'm referring to the keyboard like the input a password for a Fire Stick. That's ABCD, something like that.
Oh.
And it just,
I have a Bluetooth keyboard. I just, that's one of the first things I do is attach my keyboard to the TV.
okay,
So I can type, because. Yeah,
Years ago, I had a machine. I don't really know the person, but they apparently had a Dvorak keyboard because it was set up in Windows, and every time I would type something on my keyboard, it was just wrong, and I was like, what in the hell is going on? Yeah,
so they
They
had moved the
changed- they-
keycaps around on a standard keyboard.
they
and
changed it in Windows to
okay.
To-
So they
to be a-
remapped them.
be a Dvorak, and I was like, what the hell? So I changed it back, and then I went, as they were walking out, I went, oh yeah, I changed your keyboard. You're gonna have to change that back. Because, of course, I don't have any idea how to do that. I knew almost instantly what the problem was, but I didn't really understand why anybody would do that.
I'm reminded of wintertime in the Army. It was so cold that we were wearing long johns and fatigue pants and field pants over the top of them, and hats and gloves. And we were supposed to type word perfect letters. And so we're standing there with pencils in our hands, typing one letter at a time from a manual typewriter. So that would be the equivalent of doing the Dvorak.
That's my switch,
A little bit clicky.
a little bit clicky. That's my keycap. Actually, I like the ones with the divots in it too.
Mhm.
This is really nice to type on.
Is the travel the same on all of them?
No. They're all pretty close. Generally, it's about 2 millimeters to actuation and about 4 millimeters total travel. But there are some in there that are 3 total and 1.5 to actuation.
See, I buy keycaps and I buy switches. And I'm in big time for these. Spent more on the keycaps and switches. Don't let Patty catch you, by the way, Steve. She's still upset that I've spent $70 on 2 keyboards, so.
I spent
Some things are better
$70
not
on a
discussed.
set of keycaps. Well, yeah, that one.
My Apple cost me. But the wire got spliced on. That's pretty good.
That's I could see me getting into this and Patty will not like it. See, that's why you're finding ones that you like, right?
And I'm thinking back, I like a short travel with increasing pressure and a positive stop. So when I hit the key, I go, I know I hit it. I have absolute confidence that I didn't mistype something because I didn't press the key right.
It's kind of like kind of why I like the clickies, because you can hear it
Yeah.
click.
I can feel these, they've got a breakover, and
Yeah.
once you hit that, you've made the
Yeah,
contact. But my kids like these crappy red things. I can't use them. Yeah, it's just mushy. It's like you're typing on a sponge.
That says it all.
it's just finding, I know I like the blue switches. It's just finding which blue switch I like out of all the blue switches. And I think what's on there, what I put the A on, I think that's the one I like. There's another one that says Navy over on it somewhere, and that's a second contender for the. I can't decide which Navy I like, but. Uh-oh, Art went away.
Well, if you're at the other end of the video, this is less entertaining.
Yeah. There's not so many things to click on.
We did a little research project this week. After spending months of complaining about the internet and the lack of ability to find stuff about hydraulics. And I happened to have one of my computers logged into a foreign country. And realized, hey, why don't I search over there? Came back with 5 articles on how to do exactly what I've been looking for a month on Google Chrome here in the States.
Nice.
And I was like, WTF, it's the same internet.
Yeah. Are you sure?
And there was a meme floating around, a picture that talked about, Chrome, like how Chrome used to be when you did a search on Google, and it would come back with what you searched for. And now it comes back with the AI interpretation for your thing, 7 or 8 references of ads, and then ad links and sales slots, and then, down here on the bottom,
more than saying
you're actually looking
I
for.
want A, B, and C, and it comes back. Would you like to look at D?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I think one of the things that irritates me the most is when I tell Amazon to sort things by price, and it still puts their more expensive suggestions in line.
Yeah.
But not just at the top. They're
It's-
interspersed in there.
It's mixed
And
in,
it
yeah.
still orders them by price, but it makes you think that there's a jump from $5 to $20.
And then you
Or-
scroll a couple further down and it's
Or
back to $6.
$7.
Yeah.
Or worse, $5 to $300, and then back to
I had
$7.
a conversation
Amazon's horrible.
with the bot for Amazon. I was looking for sourdough yeast to yield the same yeast that is in San Francisco sourdough bread. And I put in specifically sourdough yeast. And I didn't pay attention. It did exactly what you're suggesting. It threw in something else, and I said, "Oh, that's what I'm looking for." I ordered it, it arrived, and it's like, I don't want this shit. So I get them on the phone and they say, "Let me see, would you like a replacement? You want to send it back?" It's like, "No, it's only 99 cents. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the fact that I type in a search for a specific thing and you don't give it to me. That's what I'm calling about, not the fact that you sent me this 99-cent yeast that I don't want." I want your search engine to search what I asked for. I'm sorry, I get a little upset about this.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I understand.
I got one that might be better or worse, depending. The other day, I went out and I had to go pick Patty up from work. And there's a bunch of groceries sitting on my front door. I don't have the groceries delivered. That she works at Kroger's.
Right.
I just go to Kroger's and buy stuff.
Bring these home.
I call Walmart while I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for Patty to come out. Why are you calling Walmart today? Somebody delivered groceries. Oh, so you would like us to deliver your groceries to? No. Somebody delivered the wrong order to my house. Oh, you'd like to find out about an order you placed to your house. Oh, no,
Yeah.
just give me customer service. Oh. Please tell me what the problem is.
I just did.
Person.
Yeah,
Oh.
speak to him, speak to him, speak to
Well,
him. That's about
Oh,
all I do.
Human can't help you anymore either.
I went, I said, customer service, I said, I need a live human. I said dozens of, but I need to know what the problem is first. I have been trying to tell you what the freaking problem is. A person finally shows up after about 45 minutes of this and says, we don't know what the problem is. And I told her, and she goes, so you need us to deliver your groceries? And I said, no, you guys delivered the groceries to my house. They belong to somebody else. I want you to come and pick them up and figure out what to do from there, because it's not my problem. There's no address, there's no nothing. You brought them to my house.
You can't take it back to me because they were closed until you.
Well,
Yeah,
So
whatever, they need to come and get them because I don't want them.
Fix the problem so it doesn't happen again.
Exactly. And I was on the phone. Meanwhile, my apartment complex, the manager at the complex calls me up on the phone while I'm trying to get Walmart to do something about
Yeah,
this.
groceries in the home.
Did you have groceries delivered to your house? Yes, I did. They belong to number 10. Anyway, you could take those over there. The lady is in a wheelchair and she can't go. And I was like, I would be happy to do that, but I am sitting at Kroger's right now waiting on my wife to get off work. So somehow or another, between the time she got off work and the time I got home, somebody at the apartment complex went over and got the groceries and took them to the lady that they belonged to.
You feel sorry for the lady that's in a wheelchair. But that doesn't solve the problem.
Well, right, and I would have, if I would have known that they belonged to her in the first place, I would have just taken them over. I mean, it's one thing over. It's not like it's a big deal.
When I get mail for the people that are 6 doors down,
Yeah,
I don't write wrong address on it. I just walk down and give them.
it depends on which.
Well, all my neighbors I do it for.
yeah.
No, I've got one neighbor right now. I just throw theirs in the trash.
I mean, everybody makes mistakes, right? But it's talking to these stupid AIs, trying to get them to fix the problem, especially since I didn't have a clue who the groceries belong to. If I would have had a clue, that would have been a little bit different.
And following along on those lines, don't get me started on the self-checkout.
Oh.
I kind of like the self-checkout if I've only got 5 things. That's it. That's the only instance.
But
Put it on the scale,
only
take it
if
off
they
the scale,
enforce
Put it
the,
on the bag, take it off the bag, put it on the scale. We were at Meyer, they had just opened up a new self-checkout lane. And it was giving me these intolerable, irreversible commands to do what I just been doing. And so I reached up with my foot and started stomping on the scale. And it was remarkable how quickly a real human got over there to see if they could fix the problem.
So I have a love-hate relationship with the self-checkout because Patty works the self-checkout. That's what her job is. So I want them to go away, but if they do that, then she's going to have to find something else to do it.
Well, no, she'll become a cashier.
Well, she is a cashier.
If that goes away, then they'll need to actually open up 2 lanes.
So what,
It was-
what Kroger's,
Now, 2 lanes can outrun 6 people doing self-checkout.
yeah,
Well.
it
that
depends.
On the quality of employee, because let me tell you,
Well, and the customers.
I've seen some Walmart cashiers that, my God,
Well,
how are you a cashier? Because I mean.
And then there's Aldi's. Zip, 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 zip. Aldi's is now putting in the self-checkouts. And even if I've got 5 items, I'll still wait in line. It is amazing how rare it is for me to actually get my card scanned before they've filled my cart. I am astounded at Aldi's.
They, some Krogers have started implementing like 10 items or less for the self-checkout, but they don't enforce it. That's the problem. If you don't enforce it, you can't stop people from abusing
now,
that situation.
along these lines, just turn this thought around for a second. Has anybody ever called an insurance company and tried to deal with them?
No.
I have an agent.
I had,
Julie worked as a pharmacy technician for Kroger for 20 years, and that's all she did every day was call and resolve insurance problems.
insurance.
I couldn't have stood that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think the Mormons are right on insurance. I think it is morally offensive. That said, I had an appendectomy that apparently would have cost me $45,000 that I paid 0 for. It offends me that I'm required to have insurance, though I don't know that that's still a thing.
No.
Yeah. Yeah,
They was not-
I,
I emailed
Fortunately,
you a link for these
I
switches.
have
oh, cool,
coverage
thank you.
through the
I
VA
am 99%
for
of
my
the
external
concrete
beam
set.
radiotherapy that cost the VA
And
$105,000.
yeah, these just have a tiny little dot there.
So it's me,
My thing on
it's just,
Fine.
which amazes.
switches. I want the letter big
Well,
and
that's
centered. I
No,
don't
no,
like the ones that came on this because they're up in one corner. I hate the ones that have the characters left and right for whether they're shifted or not. I want them above and below.
Okay,
That's because I used a mechanical keyboard for years. That's one of the reasons I switched.
the
lighting doesn't work as well if you do above and below. That's why they did.
Okay, now tell me that again. So
Yeah.
are you talking above and below like this?
Yeah.
So if you held the shift key down, you only want the colon illuminated?
No, not illuminated. On the keycaps that came on this, it was semicolon and colon on the top third. And I lost left, right.
so
I grew up right-handed. I got shot, lost the use of this hand, and now everything is both left and right to me. It's weird. But I need them above and below because I used a manual typewriter from 6th grade through college. Because nobody could read my handwriting.
Well, and the brain doesn't switch that.
Right. Yeah, so the reason the left-right thing doesn't work is because people write from the center of their body to one side or the other. If you're right-handed, you write out. If you're left-handed, you write in. If you switch, I can write better in reverse than I can forward. So I really need to type now.
The keycaps that came on the C3
Mhm.
are 100% better than the keycaps that came on the cheap Micro Center. 100%.
Yeah,
You're talking about having everything up and
Mhm.
centered. That was how the Micro Center one was. It was all up and centered and weird font. It just a
yeah.
strange font.
Red Dragon has weird fonts on their
And
script.
So when you say that the colon and semicolon were in that top third, what was in the bottom third? Nothing?
Nothing. They're just side by side. Here, I might be able
Well,
to.
no, I understand what you're saying. I'm just puzzled as to why that would benefit anybody.
So there's lights under here.
Okay,
And the light on these is up here on the top. So they
Okay.
had to put the shine through part there.
so that is the Micro Center keyboard. You see how all the
okay, yeah,
are
same
up
way.
up and I guess it's kind of up and left.
Yeah,
Now, if you look at, I'll find a picture of the keychron. It's up 100% better. It at least kind of makes sense. Keychron. Yeah, it's still kind of up, but it's in the center. It's better. It is
Yeah.
better. It's not great, but it is better.
And that's one of the
That is
differences.
because the LEDs are facing north.
Right. That's one of the differences between these two keyboards. This is north facing, they're above. This is south facing, they're below.
And now I understand why when people say they don't like the north facing LEDs, that's why. But the Keychron, in my opinion, was better. It just was better. Because at least they used a standard font. Okay, Mr. Vicente, what you got going on over there?
Why this thing moves? The image is mirror. You see?
Probably because it's mirrored over here. I don't know.
Okay.
It-
I was working with the
when the video.
I was working with keyboards actually all the week.
Okay.
I made a translator from PS2, the old keyboard thing,
Uh-huh.
to parallel.
I
I can.
I don't care for
This
that.
is a parallel port showing the key pressed. You see?
Oh,
And the image is backwards. It's strange. Maybe me. How I change this? It's in the camera setting.
Because they've got the same.
I'm not seeing any on it.
No, it's my image. I don't know. Maybe you have it.
it just keeps going in and out of focus over here.
Look at this. Everything is flipped.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks fine though, from where I'm at.
Okay, I use a black pill to make the conversion from PS2 to parallel port. I have LEDs indicating the parallel bits. But lately I changed to another microcontroller that is smaller. This one. This microcontroller costs 9% of this one. It's cheaper. It's 40 cents instead of $4, and works the same for this application.
Oh, okay.
So now I have this assemble this device translate any key from the PS2 format to parallel.
Nice. And where are you going to use this for?
Well, this is the pinout of the Apple One computer.
Okay.
So I can use this in an Apple One board as a keyboard, you know.
Okay.
It's a retro thing I was working on.
Good.
I also this is my King One simulator.
Uh-huh.
I added the speed control to the as functions. Let me stop. I can change the speed of I can specify how many instructions per second I want to run. You know, this is a function where you specify the speed. This is backwards speed. Right? You can specify what speed do you want and just run your program at any speed. This is useful for debugging programs. This is another thing I was working on.
Cool.
I hate the flipped image, because when I move the camera, I move it in the wrong direction always.
You
Oh,
can turn that off.
yeah, it's in the settings. Tell it to not mirror your image.
It only mirrors it for you.
You
Yeah,
see,
It
you
looks
can,
it looks normal to us.
yeah, you can read this normal.
Yes.
Yeah, recyclable,
Okay.
just like a box.
So it's me.
Box, job.
I bought it hasn't gotten here yet, but I bought a cosmic
You
simulator.
see what I see?
Yes. But you can turn that off if you go to the video settings of Zoom.
Yeah. Okay.
Tell it to not mirror, and then it won't mirror for you.
So where camera choose
Video settings at the bottom.
yeah, okay. Mirror my video. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, now I'm happy. Thank you.
I don't know why they do that. What?
I was just thinking the same thing.
So
my
what
vid-
you see is like looking in a mirror. If you go to just,
Yeah,
it's like what you see in a mirror.
it's a pain.
But
I-
if you're trying to do anything else,
It's just wrong. My video is mirrored over here on my screen.
This thing also works with this keyboard, keypads also work with the same board.
Okay,
You can make an Arduino project with this keyboard.
nice.
It is USB and also PS2 compatible. So this is an old one for an IBM POS station, point of sale, yeah. And it has the old connector. I need to use an adapter But then the new one already, you can use the USB connector for the PS2 functionality. So that's it.
I bought me a Cosmic Elf emulator. It's in the mail.
Great.
Cosmic Elf.
It's kind of like a Chem 1, sort of. It's using an 1802 processor instead of a 1605 or
So that's
1602.
it.
The emulator's using an Arduino, so it doesn't really matter what it is.
Done.
Nice. You're making.
So why so many keyboards in the table? Where's mine?
Yeah, you're missing it. You would have.
Yeah. Sorry.
He brought the keyboard, the key.
Mechanical keyboards.
Yeah.
Keys. Yeah, I love all of them. This is a tester, right? Okay.
I found the one.
$35.
I found the one I like, but the switches I like are cost as much as the keyboard I bought.
Let me show. This
That's
is
110.
the.
Usually you can order smaller sets and then it's cheaper. Not
Yeah.
a lot because they want to sell as many as possible.
Of course I did.
Can you see this module there? This
Yeah.
module costs a couple of dollars, and it connects a PS2 keyboard
Mhm.
and has a parallel output. You see?
Okay.
Also serial and also I2C. The problem is that you only have scan codes instead of ASCII values, you see? So you need to have a table in your program to translate the scan codes to letters. And it's a pain, it's a lot of. It's easy to have directly the ASCII letter you are looking for when you press a key, instead of trying to convert the scan code, because sometimes the scan codes can be key pressed, key released, shift, caps lock, nums lock, and you don't want that to deal with in your program. You just want the ASCII character from the keyboard. So that's why I decided to make my own scanner, my converter.
But you still need to have that table.
The table, yeah, but it's in my adapter. Instead of using an adapter, instead of using this adapter, and then in my program have the table, I create an adapter that already give me the ASCII characters. So you can work with small programs using ASCII inputs instead of have all the table in your Arduino program.
Until I use XEV. Find scan codes.
It is just right now. It's
Oh, I love those things.
to connect to the ICs, to the tiny pins of the surface mount. They are really tiny. See? I don't think you can see them. Tiny.
I got a bag of those somewhere
Yeah.
at the house. I don't know where they are. I got a bunch of stuff. I don't know where it is.
I keep going through boxes out in the garage.
I used to mark the date
Cherry pies.
and where it come from,
Right.
AliExpress. So
So you're,
That's
you're ahead
how
of
I
the
know.
curve because I don't write anything down. I just take a picture.
I pick this guy from a bag that said AliExpress 2017. 7 years ago,
Yeah,
I bought them. I never use it.
I've got two or three that I bought
Yeah.
at least that long ago. I don't think I even have a keyboard that'll plug into them anymore. I don't think I've got a PS2 keyboard anymore.
That's a thing I hadn't been thinking about. When you're using REPL on a Raspberry Pi Pico, where is its lookup table? How do you switch languages if you've got a French keyboard? It's got to be in there somewhere.
They just gonna force everybody to use English.
You guys were talking about having boxes and stuff, you didn't know what was in what. Seems to me it was about 25 years ago, I wrote a multi-value access database that you could put in. This is for my nephew who was having trouble, put everything in boxes. But he didn't have any way of remembering what was in the box. So the choices for the very first was it electrical, mechanical, what color was it? You know, you could pick any of those. So it's red and electrical. And if you picked electrical, you could then go whether it was resistance or voltage or whatever. And if you picked one of those, then it would take you down another pathway. So you have every parameter you can imagine, you know, all in length, and you say, okay, I want to find, and if your keyword in your brain is blue, and you go into the database and say, I want blue, then it would bring up everything that was associated with blue in a way, and then you could go from there to the next trip down and say, blue electrical. And it was like, we used that for about 6 months. He said, oh, it's too much trouble.
Years ago, I think 3M had come out with QR codes that were stickers. And they were meant for boxes, for moving, basically. You scan the QR code, you type in what's in the box, send it on its way. So I was using that for a while to try to organize, and it pretty much became a pain in the butt to keep up with everything that was in that box. And or what wasn't in that box. Because I would take stuff out and I wouldn't update the thing. And
My kids packed a bunch of my stuff at one point. And Parker did the beautiful thing. On every box, he wrote a number. On the inside of the flap and the outside. And all the boxes had similar stuff. I had one box that was steam engines. He took a picture of the box open. You can see the flap and the number, and then he sealed it up. And it's got the same number on the outside. So I'm looking for steam engine stuff. I know it's in box 23.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
My
Well, that-
wife's father was an auctioneer, and as well as my grandfather. And he had a stroke, so he had aphasia. He could do numbers well, but he could not do words. So we went to an auction one time, and his helper is got this odd lot of stuff. And Julie's dad says something about the current bid, and his helper reaches in there and starts picking up stuff and showing people what's in the box. Reaches in and he pulls out a knife wood handle, long blade. And there's a little 5-year-old kid that's in the audience and says, "Come here, I need an ear." And a kid just freezes and runs around behind his grandmother. And everybody thought it was funny because this guy is big, giant, gentle, wouldn't hurt a person in the world. But for the rest of the afternoon, that kid had one function in life, and that was to make sure his grandmother was between.
This, that 3M thing. Like I said, it was mostly meant for movie.
Mhm.
And you were supposed to take a picture of the box and write a description and. It never really worked. It would have worked just fine for moving, I think, but
Yeah,
for what I was trying to use it
you
for,
needed more QR codes.
it was a pain. It was a pain. But, yeah, there's gotta be a way to organize this junk.
So one thing that you can do is scan the barcode on everything. If you Google those, it almost always comes back with that item.
Except that almost everything you buy, at least electronic wise, from AliExpress comes in the little baggies. It doesn't really have a
Yeah.
barcode.
Yeah, that's right.
And when I pick stuff up out of the trash, they rarely have documents. So that would not have a.
No, that
So,
would.
okay, what are you gonna straighten that out and use it?
Now,
Or,
before you came, I was talking about my 430-pound garage door. It broke a cable and plunged 7 feet and ripped a board out that had 6 of these nailed into the wall.
yeah, you were not in that garage.
Well, I have
You're not.
all of my limbs are normal for the most part, so no, I was not.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in a house in one of those cables, but it was surprisingly noisy.
Oh, terrible.
Our our windows in our apartment are spring loaded, like,
Mhm.
and one of those springs sprung. Those windows come down surprisingly fast.
Yeah.
And with a lot of force. I was actually surprised that the window itself did not shatter.
Yeah, they're pretty tough. Glass is surprisingly strong.
Unless you hit it just right. Or with a baseball
Or a hammer.
or hammer. Yeah, a lot of little quirky things, I guess. I ordered that. I saw a video for that cosmic elf. A real one. It was a DIY computer from 1979. It was
Okay,
Popular Electronics thing. And apparently there were 3 upgrades to it, and the Cosmic Company actually made kits that you could buy the entire kit and put it together yourself.
what was the processor?
Equivalent.
Kinda.
6502, Z80?
It was a
Okay.
1802. 18,
18.
yeah, Panasonic made it.
Yeah, okay.
It was an interesting, there's like a huge community around this thing. And so when I saw it on eBay, the simulator, the emulator, the whatever you want to call it, the same idea that he's doing with like the Chem 1, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And they've updated it a little bit so you can put an I2C OLED on it and use that for the display instead of an old TV. Yeah. But the TV wasn't that great either, so.
Yeah.
But,
I just got a neat toy.
Really?
Specifically for the Raspberry Pi, I'm building a bigger toy. 7-inch HDMI display. Touch screen. It's got an HDMI and a USB input. It gets power on USB and sends out touch on that. No configuration. Plug it in, it works. No calibration needed either. And it's pretty darn accurate. It's almost too small to be used.
So. I bought a replacement hub for my USB-C hub that fried itself after I plugged something into it that took way more power than it should have.
Mhm.
This replacement hub's got an HDMI port that apparently you don't need drivers if you have Windows, but Linux doesn't know what to do with it. So,
Probably does. I would try the J5 makes those. And they all seem to use the same chip.
yeah,
Look up what Google Linux J5 HDMI driver and follow that. I've installed that in Mint and gotten quite a few displays to work, the USB-C external 15-inch displays and stuff. USB to HDMI adapters.
I'm not even sure that the hardware actually shows up. Everything else shows up. It's even got a power, a USB-C thing on it so that it'll charge your phone. Which is
Okay.
interesting. But I guess your USB-C port has to support that in the first place.
I'm using a cheap $30 USB-C thing for a laptop. Plug monitors into it, so that speakers. Docking station, yeah. Cheap, not AliExpress cheap, Amazon cheap. And everything I plugged into it just works with it. My only qualm with it is my Nook can't get power from USB-C. Everything else works.
So I bought this on AliExpress for like $6.
Oh,
Yeah, actually, it's better than I thought it would be for $6. But I didn't really buy it because it had an HDMI port. I bought it because it had the full-size SD card reader, which my machine has a micro SD card reader, which is great, except I've got a bunch of full-size SD cards. Oh. When my other hub bit the dust, I lost my SD card reader and I was kind of like, I need that. Plus it gives me 2 extra USB ports, which can come in handy.
Leroy, let me share a picture.
Maybe if I would do my job and
Yeah,
flip the switch. All right, you should be able to share the screen.
no?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, this was an experiment I did this afternoon. Let me show you, share. You see something here? This is my emulator of the old computer, the Kimba, connected to my phone via OTG connector,
Yeah.
running a terminal program. So, and I am using a Anker Bluetooth keyboard. So I can use this computer just with my phone and the keyboard. You see? You can ask the time, the configuration of the switches, the timeout of the When it's unplugged, it's a timeout to go to sleep of 30 seconds. You can change everything. Battery is 2.9 volts, this battery. The PROM of the 80 mega is 1K and is split in different chunks or sectors to say programs. You can change this distribution to have more slots of 64 or less or 4 slots of 256 bytes or whatever you want. And you can change the speed of the program to see how it works. So I did the same thing with the King-1 simulator, the new computer I'm doing, the ruler. But I was checking this program terminal is an Android application, and it's very old and doesn't have ads. It's free and it works perfectly. I love it. It's the only one that you can clear the screen with this button. You can work in hexadecimal instead of ASCII. I don't know, I like it. You can send escape commands to change the background, the foreground of the letters. You can do anything with this program, and the program is open source in GitHub. You can change the program, adjust as you want for you, and load in your phone, in your Android phone. Okay.
Is there a help about for that? I'm curious who makes that.
What?
Is there a help about for that application? I'm curious who makes it.
Just thinking if you got on a chat.
I help for what?
Asking for.
Who made the terminal program?
I can send a link.
Okay.
Let me look in.
Can you go full screen?
Can I go full screen? Maybe.
No, not that. Well, in view, there's full screen. Up where? Down.
Let me search. How? I don't know. Terminal.
Well, of course, that hides. Yeah.
Apps. I think that the search button is under your screen. Yeah, under the meeting. One second. Terminal. This is. Let me
Go to Max.
share the link. Copy. Let me stop sharing to share the link. This is the app. And you can go to GitHub to check if you can do anything about it. I never made an Android application, so I don't even try to do anything. But I like this terminal because you can configure the program to send a line after you end a line with a return. You send the full line, or you can use it like a terminal, sending each character at a time, as usual.
I don't know what I did.
I like this terminal. It's more like a terminal.
That probably is not what you want me to do, but
That is perfectly fine.
that's probably not what you wanted me to do. I-
I'm seeing Termux, Termius, Juice SSH, and Term One Plus. I figure it's one of those. I don't know how he got a URL.
It recognizes a lot of chips, serial chips, you know, CP 20, I don't remember, the CH 430, a lot of
Whatever you need.
chips.
When I get back home, I will copy this link and I'll email it to the group,
Thank you.
so everybody will have it.
Do you need that photo?
I don't need it. I thought that's what I thought you wanted me to try to get the app for you or something.
No,
What do you need?
I was looking at,
I'm so sorry.
no, it's all right. I apologize for interrupting. I simply giving you a screen capture option for Zoom.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, the link is,
When I get home, I'm going to copy that link from the chat.
okay,
I will
no,
I'll email everybody the link.
you have the link in your WhatsApp, okay?
Okay, I have
I
the link
just,
in my,
you can use it in your WhatsApp to send to a phone or
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah. I will make sure everybody gets that. So we're all on the same page.
This is the kind of terminal that you can connect to anything and just work with it. And no ads is a bless. Really.
It's been a day. So,
Art, I think you are the only person that has a periodic table on the wall.
Where? You
No,
will?
You have a periodic table?
There's the new one though.
Yeah.
I can't hear you, Art. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I can't hear you.
Hello? Me?
There you,
Hello?
hello? That's you. That's
Yeah.
not Sunday.
Hello? You hear me?
No,
Yeah, we did then.
You have a new car?
I thought I heard Art.
Hello?
I can't hear Art. I don't know what happened to Art.
Hmm.
Art's trying. Art's trying really hard.
A very animated discussion. I don't know what he's saying.
Well, that's pretty typical anymore. Something happens and then something else happens and we lose Art. So, just for sake of whatever, we're in person again next week.
I think I'm gonna miss. I'm not sure why, but I was told.
That's all right. Patty and the grandkid went to Kings Island this morning and
Yeah,
so I picked them up from Kings Island and came here, so they're here somewhere.
I truly enjoyed working at Kings Island. They paid me to ride roller coasters and ride a bicycle around the park. It was a good job. There was only one customer that ever really annoyed me. And that was some kid that was there every single day. His folks got a season pass as a babysitter, and they dropped this kid off at the far gate. And he was there every single day. And was annoying.
Well, it works now.
Oh,
Well, because now they got the meal plan, so they can stay
Yeah.
there all day.
oh, he did. I mean, he was there from when we opened until about 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Ain't gonna do that now.
Hmm.
They close it, what, 5?
What?
Oh, yeah.
They don't have fireworks anymore?
This season, they close.
Drones.
Like 5 or 6.
Yeah, if you don't have an adult with you after 4, you get kicked out now or something.
Really?
Yeah.
The park actually closes. By dinner time, something like that, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah,
That's weird.
Because, the museum uses all the teams.
Mhm.
it was.
Teams people up and.
It was because there were, like, last season, there were huge fights between teams,
Rival gangs? Really?
just teams, just
Hmm.
huge fights. And I thought they were keeping the thing open, and if you had a parent, you were fine, but if you,
Well, like, you're not allowed there any longer without somebody over 18 with you, I
yeah,
don't think.
This was my son wedding.
nice.
This was before the wedding, just the pictures. I took the guy taking pictures.
Picture of the guy, take the picture of the picture.
Pictures
Who
of the
took
guy
a picture of
taking
you,
pictures.
Sunday?
Huh?
Who took a picture of you, taking the picture of the picture?
Oh, would be nice. I need you for that.
Photo.
What else?
graphic,
I have a motor, a motor, a useless motor. Let me show you.
That would be an interesting.
What can you do with this?
Entertainment. Trying to get a picture.
You see this motor?
Okay,
Do nothing. Just turn around the compass.
Oh, spinning the compass.
I use 4 relay coils.
I bet that messes the compass up.
What?
Hmm.
This is a tiny compass. You can make it turn, and it's useless as almost everything we do.
I'm still waiting for M5 to actually come out with the BLC motors. They keep saying they're coming out, they're coming. They've got the controller for $6.
Really? How big of a motor will that drop?
Not big.
I saw a video where a guy had removed the main motor for the disk out of a hard drive and was using that with a rheostat for a very speed DC motor. And I was surprised. I think he got it up to like 6,500 RPM.
Okay.
But no torque.
No,
Those are very low power,
well,
but they're plentiful.
yeah, you're spinning it, but you
Mhm.
don't have any load on it.
Someone spent it to 25, so.
Yeah.
This is the makerspace.
Well, you'll have the inertia.
I was working on it.
Is this at your house?
No, the makerspace.
Oh, okay.
Which, there's 2.
High 13,
Okay.
$50 monthly, and you have everything you need in metalworking, laser, CNC, jewelry, cooking, whatever, electronics, everything that there in downtown.
That's a planer.
Why not?
This is another project. This is confidential. Thank you.
Don't show us.
Very good boards.
This is my recently.
See, grandpa was out on the farm. But it was, plane.
We got
Planes.
about 3 minutes. And
Nice.
I thought that I saw some people piling up out there.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to shut down and I'll see everybody next week.
Okay. Maybe I bring my robot. It's working the RC hoverboard
Okay,
yellow thing, the big one.
okay. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.